Today, it's a roundup of the biggest cards in the sports card hobby. We're giving you 20 amazing cards that have quadrupled in value over the last 90 days. My name is Jeff Wilson. By day, I invest in tech companies, and at night, I invest in sports cards. Join me on my journey to profit from the hobby we all love. Sports card investors, and welcome to another episode. On Thursdays, you normally see Amber on this show doing the forecast, what cards to buy, sell, or hold. Well, she's off for the next couple weeks because she is off getting married. My little sister, Amber Wilson, is about to get married. Of course, I'm going to join her in a little while for the festivities, but I am giving her a little break and taking over this week's episode. And we're going to do something special this week. We are going to look back at how hot the card market has been over the last 90 days, and we are going to give you 20 cards, rapid fire, that have quadrupled in value over the last 90 days or more. Some of these have gone up 10x over the last 90 days. This is gonna be a fun countdown to do. And as you're watching this show today, you may be saying, gosh, the sports card hobby is so hot, and it seems like graded cards are the ones that are going up the most and that are getting all of the attention and love from investors. And so you might be saying to yourself, I gotta grade some of my cards. I've got cards that need grading. And if you're saying that to yourself, then I got the solution. Because here at Sports Card Investor, we have a very special bulk submission program for PSA grading. And if you go through our submission program, you can often get better turnaround times, better pricing, and better customer service than you can get going direct through PSA. If you have cards to grade, you're gonna wanna check it out. Go to sportscardinvestor.com and click on grading in the main menu bar. All right, you ready for our top 20 cards today? Let's get it started. Card number one, we gotta start with a Florida Gator. My boy Emmitt Smith, his cards have been hot, and there has been no card hotter than his 1990 Score Supplemental PSA 10 card. A great card that a lot of people are chasing as they're chasing iconic cards of all of yesterday's football stars. This card is up 457% in the last 90 days. Card number two, we're going with the basketball big man who dominated the 1990s, Shaquille O'Neal. I remember when he came into the league with Orlando. I lived in Florida at the time. It was awesome to get a chance to go see him play and dominate. He's also been dominating the basketball card charts recently. His 1992 Topps Gold card is the one many investors are going after. That card in PSA 10 is up 445% in the last 90 days. Let's talk about another big man from the 90s and 2000s, Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett was in our top 5 just a couple days ago, and for good reason. He accomplished incredible things with Minnesota and then went on to form the Big Three in Boston and win an NBA title. Kevin Garnett's 1995 Topps card in PSA 10 is up 532% in the last 90 days. No list of top cards could be complete these days without Michael Jordan, and we've got to go to Michael Jordan's 1987 card, his second year card, because while his 1986 cards had been making record-breaking sales, his second year cards had been going up incredibly as well. And it's his 1987 Fleer card in PSA 9 that has gone up a ton. 611% over the last 90 days. His PSA 10, by the way, from 1987 Fleer, also has jumped a similar margin as well. Those 87 Fleer Jordan cards, those are great ones to own. Let's stick with 1987 Fleer and let's talk about one of Michael Jordan's big counterparts from the 80s, another player, of course, on another team, of course, but another iconic player close to Jordan's level. I'm talking about Magic Johnson. His cards have been red hot, just as Jordan's cards have been hot, and a lot of your 1980s basketball stars have been hot. Magic Johnson's 1987 Fleer card in PSA 9 is up 586% over the last 90 days. And while we're staying with 1987 basketball, let's go ahead and hit on Larry the Legend, Larry Bird, because just like MJ and just like Magic, Larry Bird's cards have been doing great as well. And it is Larry Bird's 1987 Fleer card in PSA 9 that is up 481% over the last 90 days. Let's go back to MJ. Let's go a year later. Let's talk 1988. His 1988 Fleer All-Star card. This is a card that is catching the attention of collectors and investors as well. This card in particular has an iconic photo of Michael Jordan soaring through the air for a dunk. It's a card that I have in my personal collection, actually have it all the way back from when I was a kid. Have held on to that card through all of those years. And that 88 Fleer All-Star PSA 9 is up 481% in the last 90 days. Let's go back to Larry Bird. Let's go to 1990. Let's keep this 90s basketball streak going. Larry Bird's cards from many years are hot. His 1990 Fleer PSA 10 card is unique because Magic Johnson is also featured on the card. So that's one reason why investors are going crazy over this card in particular. You get a little shot, a little part of Magic on the card there alongside Larry. Of course, they had such a great rivalry throughout the 1980s. And this 1990 Fleer PSA 10 card of Larry Bird's is up 600% in the last 90 days. All right, let's switch back to football. The guy who put on another Super Bowl ring, I'm not talking about Tom Brady. I'm talking about his counterpart who traveled from New England to Tampa to catch passes from Tom Brady. Once again in the Super Bowl, how familiar was the Brady to Gronkowski connection? And we saw it again this past Sunday night. And Rob Gronkowski's cards have been incredibly hot as a result. His 2010 Topps base card in raw condition up 684% over the last 90 days. Wow. How about sticking with football, going with a player who is maybe going to get his chance to finally be in the spotlight with a good team after spending 10 plus years in Detroit. But Matthew Stafford has established himself as a wonderful NFL quarterback, and people are excited to see what he can do with the Rams in Sean McVay's offense. When news of that trade was announced, Stafford's cards immediately jumped up in value, and his 2009 Topps Chrome Refractor in PSA 10 has jumped in value by 867% over the last 90 days. All right, guys, we are halfway through our list, but we got 10 more good cards to go. So let's keep rolling. Let's go back to Super Bowl stars, but a guy on the wrong side of the Super Bowl. He wasn't his best in the Super Bowl, but Travis Kelce has been incredible throughout his career. We'll have to forgive him for that game because he's had so many other dominating games throughout his career with the Chiefs. Certainly the best tight end at the moment in football. And his 2013 Topps Chrome rookie card, that is one collectors and investors are chasing. That card in PSA 9 condition, up 631% over the last 90 days. All right, let's switch over to baseball for a minute. We got to talk some baseball, of course, and people are chasing the iconic cards of all-time greats. People are now chasing Alex Rodriguez. You know, we'll see Alex Rodriguez, a Hall of Fame-esque career. He will be eligible, I believe, for the Hall of Fame ballot next year for the first time. He probably won't get in on the first ballot because of some of the steroid issues and that type of thing, but you would think he's probably going to get in at some point in time. He certainly had an absolutely amazing career a ton of talent. And Alex Rodriguez 1994 SP foil card in PSA 8 condition. That is a hard card to get a good grade on. In PSA 8 condition, that card is up 531% in the last 90 days. All right, let's go back to football and let's talk about the guy who put the 7th ring on his hands, the GOAT, Tom Brady. He really got it done. An absolutely incredible end to, well, not even an end to his career, just another ring. Who knows how many more this guy will get, but his cards have been going crazy. What's interesting is some of his raw cards have really been going crazy as investors have been trying to find any raw cards of him that they can find from the early years in hopes that they can get him graded and find some return by getting those cards graded. Maybe they'll use our PSA grading service here at Sports Card Investor. Hopefully they will. Tom Brady's 2000 Bowman base cards in raw condition. They are up 488% over the course of the last 90 days. Let's go back to basketball and let's talk about a guy who's having a great season, Nikola Jokic, the Joker for Denver. This guy has been doing great this year, putting up wonderful stats, looking like possibly even an MVP candidate. He truly has an MVP caliber season going on. He scored 50 points just a couple nights ago against the Kings, and that just is just indicative of the season this guy has been having. People are scooping up some of his raw cards, just like they were Tom Brady, looking to try to find some rookie cards of his to grade. In particular, his 2015 Donruss rated rookie card in raw condition. The Joker up 507% over the last 90 days. That is no joke. All right, I know that was a bad joke. Sorry. We'll keep going. We'll go back to football. Let's talk Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is, of course, the subject of many trade rumors. People are hoping that Deshaun Watson is maybe freed from the Texans and ends up on another team that has more potential, and perhaps he can put them over the top to make them a real contender. We'll see if he's going to get traded or not. The Texans seem to be digging their heels in that they don't want to trade him, but he wants out. So we're going to see what shakes out there. But either way, his cards are going up a lot on the speculation that he could get traded. His 2017 select field level cards in PSA 10 are up 434% over the last 90 days. But that's not all. You know I love select cards, ladies and gentlemen. If you watch this channel, I am high on select cards, and that's for good reason. Select cards as a whole have been going up quite a bit, outpacing Prism, outpacing Optic, outpacing Mosaic in many cases. And we see it here again with Deshaun Watson. His 2017 Select Concourse silver card in raw condition. This one is up 920% in the last 90 days. All right, for card number 17, let's bounce back over to baseball. Let's talk about Mike Trout. Mike Trout's 2011 Topps Update card. This card has been hot as can be. People are buying up these star players, these players who they consider to be, you know, the iconic players, the great players of all time. And of course, Trout is no exception to that. And even though there was a little bit of market manipulation that took place over Mike Trout cards, I spoke about that extensively in my episode on Sunday. If you didn't see that, go back and watch that, learn how to protect yourself. But even with those suspicious sales taken out of the equation, Mike Trout's cards are still going up quickly. And his BGS 10 pristine card, up 436% in the last 90 days. All right, let's talk Kobe. Let's talk the legend. Kobe has got to be on this list. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, one of the all-time great players. Just absolutely magnificent. Many of his cards are breaking records all across the board. His 2008 Topps Chrome card in particular, this is a cool one because this is Kobe being guarded by LeBron. Collectors and investors are chasing this card. This card is up 400% in PSA 10 condition over the course of the last 90 days. Speaking of LeBron, just throw a little bonus mention in here. This card hasn't quite quadrupled yet, but his 2008 Topps Chrome PSA 10 card, it has done great in its own right. Not quite 4X return, but close to it. And this too is an iconic card, the Chalk Toss. Love that card. So there's a little bonus one for you to throw in there. Card number 19. Let's go back to MJ and let's talk 1986 Fleer, but not the standard 86 Fleer card you're talking about. That one has, of course, gone crazy, but what about the sticker? People forget about the sticker from 1986 Fleer, but that card has done great in its own right as well. In fact, that iconic Michael Jordan 1986 Fleer sticker card in PSA 10, it is up 437% in the last 90 days. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We've almost made it to the end of the list. We are at card number 20, and I'm going to give you the card that has gone up the most out of all of the ones I mentioned. This card is a little bit off the beaten path, a little bit under the radar, but those savvy collectors and investors who have discovered it early, they have made a killing. Muhammad Ali. Yes, Muhammad Ali has cards. And in particular, his 1979 Limited World of Sports card in PSA 10. Not a lot of collectors and investors knew about it, but if you did great. And if you don't, then you know now. And what you know now is this card has gone up over 1,100% in the last 90 days, 1,102%. And it's the illustration of Ali's famous, floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee moment that makes this card very iconic for collectors. You know what? I don't feel like we should be done yet. That's 20 exceptional cards. Let me give you a couple more. Let's keep the fun going. Let's talk about two really unusual cards. We just talked about Ali. Let's talk about a couple more unusual cards that set record prices in the last week. Let's talk about two cards that are perforated edge cards. You don't see these very often these days. You especially don't see them graded in PSA 10. Here's my trivia question for you before I tell you the answer. Which two perforated edge cards just set all-time high sales records by far in the last week? You know what the answers are? The first is The Rock. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? I smell that The Rock is cooking some record card prices right now because goodness gracious, Dwayne Johnson's card, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Some people don't know he played football for the University of Miami before he went on to a pro wrestling career and then, of course, an incredible acting career. And there are those 1994 Miami Bumblebee cards sitting out there, but there is not many of them. There are only 30 of these in existence in PSA 10 condition, and one just sold the other day for over $45,000, by far an all-time record for this card. But that is not the only perforated card that has recently sold sales records. My good friend Cameron McMillan from rotogrinders.com. This guy has turned into a savvy sports card investor, and he is making waves of his own right. And he just went all in on the 1996 Tiger Woods Sports Illustrated 4 Kids card, another perforated legendary card in PSA 10 condition. Even more rare than the Dwayne Johnson card I just told you about. This one is only a Pop 26 card. That card was purchased for $35,000. In my opinion, with how the market has been recently, I actually think that's a pretty good deal. I think that card being the very first Tiger Woods card, being only population 26 in PSA 10 condition, that to me is the type of card that I think can keep going up and up and up and become a true legendary sports card in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our episode for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Almost every single card we mentioned today is being tracked both in Market Movers and in our free Sports Card Investor app. So if you like episodes like this and you like seeing and talking about the price movements of cards, the first thing you should do is go on your phone in the App Store and search for Sports Card Investor. Make sure you have that app, and then check out Market Movers, because Market Movers is the ultimate way to track the price changes of cards and also get a daily update on what your own collection is worth, plus tons of other incredible features. Check it all out by going to sportscardinvestor.com and clicking on Market Movers in the main menu bar. That's all I got for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you back in a couple of days with our next episode. Take care.